As an artist, we have a lot of moments where we just feel like we're in a rut. The creative juices aren't flowing. We have artist block. We just don't feel like we can create something unique and fun anymore. It's lost its sparkle, and we don't know what to do about it. A lot of times, artist block comes from feeling like you're either burnt out or there's just nowhere else to go creatively. Maybe you feel like you've been improving your skills and then you just reach a spot where you don't feel like you're improving anymore. Or you've gotten so comfortable with your routine that it doesn't have that same creative feeling that it used to have. When this happens, it's really great to intentionally push yourself outside of your creative boundaries in order to still ignite that sparkle again, that excited feeling that we used to have when we were drawing. A really easy way to do this is simply by using a different art medium than you typically use. And that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be experimenting with a couple new mediums and trying to break that artist block. Let's get started. For the first items, I decided to go with POSCA markers. I've used the POSCA markers before, usually when I am trying to color other items, so whether that's something wooden or metal. I very rarely have used them actually on paper, and even then, it's usually just for details and not filling in large spaces like this. Now, the reason that's the case is because, in my experience, Poscas do tend to kind of tear up the paper a little bit. In this case, my sketchbook paper is also not fantastic. It's fairly thin and it's very textured, which the nibs on the Posca markers really didn't like. It's always hard when you get to that blank page just knowing what to draw. I know my mind goes as blank as the paper itself every time when I don't have a specific direction. So I really did just kind of jump in and started drawing whatever I felt like. I wanted to hopefully try to layer up colors, get something cute and dimensional with these big flats of color, but as mentioned, the paper just really didn't like that. So I had to go with some stuff that was more textured, but in the end I still think that that was kind of cute. I don't love the end result of these drawings. I feel like if I had the right paper, this could have been a lot better, but as it is, they're fine. The gel pens. Similar to the Posca markers, I don't use these a lot for drawing itself. I have used them for journaling or when I was in school, like note taking and that kind of stuff, but I don't think I've ever just sat down and used them to fill a spread like this. I honestly wasn't even sure how to use them in this way, so I went onto Pinterest and online and just saw other ways people use gel pens to do full drawings. And there's some really gorgeous stuff out there. That was not quite accomplished by me here. I think I'm fairly happy with how these turned out, but again, I think I'd need more practice to really figure out how to use them in a way that I'm happy with and that captures my style well. I will say this eye that I'm drawing here, I end up pretty pleased with that. There's something about the kind of weird layered colors that I really like. It's not perfect by any means, but it is cute and not terrible. I also chose to draw another strawberry or two, as you'll see here, partially just to compare to the Poscas, and then also to compare the different kind of styles within the gel pens. I thought also of attempting to draw the gel pens themselves. As I said, I just completely have no idea what to draw when I sit down like this, so it's just something that was close by, and I absolutely hate how they turned out. I wish we could just pretend that they don't exist and skip past them. There's that second strawberry I was talking about, and I really did like how the eye turned out, so I wanted to try to draw something else kind of in that similar vein of keeping it with like white space, including a lot of colors. And I do like this one better than the first strawberry, but it still feels like it's kind of missing the mark for me. But still, I was determined to draw something with these gel pens that I actually liked. So I turned to a second page and I started a completely new drawing, sketched it out in pencil first, and was really trying to capture, once again, that vibe of the eye drawing because I liked how that turned out. And mm, I won't say I quite achieved it. I think this is fine. It reminds me a lot of how I used to draw when I was younger. Like, there are just some things that are really evidently wrong and just feel off to me. I think the way I end up doing her hair is pretty cute, but a lot of the other details aren't so much. I could see myself using gel pens more to add details to other drawings, but just completely drawing with them alone, I think I'll leave that here. After that, I moved on to alcohol markers. So I've actually never really used Copic markers exclusively before. I think I own like three of them that I got in a pack at some point. But the alcohol markers that I've always used are the Ohuhu markers. And I can't compare, obviously, but I think they're fantastic. I have two sets of them, one that I got back when they were shaped a little more oblong. And then I got one of the newer sets where they're all circular. And most of the old ones are starting to dry out, but the new ones are still fantastic. And I love the way that they blend and stuff. It's not a medium that I use often. I used to use them a lot more in high school before I got like a digital drawing tablet and everything. But since then, I haven't picked them up very often. And so I definitely have lost some of that skill in how to blend and knowing how to lay down the colors. I really love the way that the hair turned out with this girl, but her skin looks so muddy, and I think it's just because I didn't layer the colors properly. It does look better than it looks on camera, but not by much. I also wanted to pull some more contrast out of it, so I brought in colored pencils and some white gel pens, and I love the way that those layered. Like, colored pencils on top of alcohol markers is fantastic. Then I wanted to go in and try doing another drawing, but with colored pencils as the line work instead of a micron pen. And I thought this looked so cute. I just did a little fox, and I love the way the kind of purplish blue line work looks with the bright orange colors. I completely forgot to film the middle bit once I started adding the colors, so you just have to take it from here. Finally, I did some colored pencils, and oh my goodness, after this, I need to use these more often. I hardly ever use them except for maybe to do some sketching, just add a little pop of color to my sketchbook. But doing full colored pencil drawings, it's so great. I love the texture. I love the way you can layer the colors. And I don't even have nice colored pencils. Like, most of them are just basic Crayola pack. But these turned out so adorable. They are easily my favorite drawings from this whole experiment. And, just watch. You'll see. I mean, do you see what I'm talking about? She's an apple. And she's wearing a dress. And she's so cute. I've really been experimenting with texture more and even just my digital artwork. And so being able to just naturally have that texture and add all these colors for shading and lighting, it was so fun. It felt incredibly natural and is definitely 100% something I want to experiment more with. I've also got a set of like watercolor colored pencils. I've always just kind of used them as watercolor that's contained in pencil form, but doing this has got me thinking like I should really play with those more and kind of figure out the limitations and the excitement behind that. Let me know if that's something you would want to see. I'd definitely do that on camera for sure. Mm-hmm. After I did our little apple girl, I thought she needs a friend, so I drew a little lime girl also in a dress. Her dress isn't nearly as detailed as Apple Girl's, but that's okay. I think she's still happy with it. I mean, I know I've gushed about the colored pencils enough here, but this is really where I felt myself hitting my stride. Like, this is where that feeling of pushing myself and growing really came in, like I was talking about earlier. The creative block was gone. I just went for it, and it was fun, and it wasn't perfect because I don't know the medium super well, but it felt different, and it felt like something I never would have drawn if I wasn't doing this, and something that I was really excited to be working on. Like, I'd put it down and say, okay, it's done, and then I'd pick it up and keep adding details and adding shading and colors, and I just didn't want it to stop. And that's exactly the vibe that we're going for. That's what we're hoping will happen when you do these kinds of things. That's all I got for you today. Thanks so much for coming along, and we'll see you next time. Bye.